Day investors, this is your number one able rate of Victoria, Vickers Properties. This is Vickers Real Estate Talk. So today we'll be treating a new topic, relationship between landlord, agents, and tenants. I hope you enjoyed last week's topic. Please, I would like you to sit down and watch this video to the end. You're watching this video for the first time, you're welcome. Please do smash the subscription button of this YouTube channel to subscribe so you always be notified of every latest update, every latest notification. You're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching our videos. Like our page, comment. If you've not subscribed yet, please do smash the subscription button of this YouTube channel to subscribe so you always be notified of every latest update, every latest notification. Please, you can also share with your friends and families. Please, I would like you to sit down. Depending on your weather, you can grab your hot tea, your hot coffee, or your chill drink and watch this video to the end as I go on this topic, relationship between landlord, agents, and tenants. Does landlord have the right to throw out a tenant if the rent expires without notice? No. Only the court of law determines whether if the tenant stays or quits the premises. Landlords and agents are not entitled to go into the premises and physically throw out the tenants, but must give statutory notice to the person in possession, that is the tenant. Under the Lagos State tenancy law, a tenant declares a lesser human being against the wishes of the Constitution as many times as his or her rights are trampled on. The law will always lean in favor of the tenant to safeguard him properly while he or she strive to acquire his or her own. For the tenant to enjoy his or her stay, number one, there should be a written agreement whereby the name of the tenant and the landlord is there and he or she signs. Number two, right to issuance of receipt of payments. Right to issuance of receipt of payment, that is when the tenant pays his or her rent, the receipt should be issued to he has the right to get the receipt of his payments. Number three, right to peaceful enjoyment of property. That is, the tenant have the right to enjoy the property he or she paid for. Number four, right to valid notice to quit. That is, the tenant have the right to get a valid notice to quit. Not that the landlord will just come to say, now leave my house. No. There should be a notice, even from the court of law. Law provide notice to quit for very tenancy, that is between 6 months and above, that is 6 months to 1 year notice. Landlord don't have right to just quit a tenant. There should be a notice, 6 months to 1 year notice. Once you have been served within 7 days to quit, you can hear to the court. Number five, right to statutory tenancy, meaning that expiration of valid notice to quit, meaning that the tenant still maintains his possession without any revocation. Even at this stage, the law will still frown at the landlord who goes out to throw out his tenants without proceeding to the court for such an order. For the fact that you are being served for eviction, the landlord and agents don't have rights to temper. The tenant still have rights of his possession. Meaning that even if your landlord or your agent serve you quick notice, they don't have right to tamper you. They don't have rights to tamper your property. You as a tenant, you have rights of that possession. It's only the court of law that have the final say. Number six, right to fair hearing. Under the 1999 Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria that was amended in 2011, in its fullness has provided all persons, including the tenant and the landlord, inalienable. Inalienable means that it cannot be transferred. It cannot be taken away. Your rights cannot be taken away. Inalienable, that means each one has the right of fair hearing, meaning that no person can be tried in a competent court without his or her part of the matter being heard in the court. That is, the landlord and the tenants have the right to be heard. It's not going to be one-sided that it's only the landlord that will be heard. Both the landlord and the tenants will be given fair hearing. Because some landlords, in their wickedness and criminality, will procure a stranger to pose as a suit tenant to deceive the court and procure judgment. What I mean is that some wicked landlord will not take the tenant, the right tenant to the court. He will go and maybe rent someone outside to pose as a tenant that he would take to the court using the name of the tenant. Meanwhile, it's not the tenant that is standing there in the court to procure judgment. And we send a letter that is the judge or the court gives and send to the tenant. Meanwhile, the tenant was not present in the court, was not physically present in the court. He only used someone else. The landlord only used someone else to pose as the tenant in order to procure judgment from the court against the tenant. This is a criminal offense. If a tenant discovers that his or her landlord have gone to deceive the court, he have the right to sue the landlord. It's against the law. Tenant cannot be served notice if he or she did not appear in court. 7. Right to sue a landlord who paid deaf ears for the provision of his or her tenant's needs. In a house, landlord, there are certain things he needs to provide for the tenants. The basic amenities, electricity, water, and some other few things. And if these are not done, and the tenants come to you to tell you these are the things that are no water in the house, this, and you don't pay attention to them, and you ignore them, you can be sued for that. In Lagos State tenancy law, in the law in Nigeria, even wherever in diaspora, there are laws that covers the landlord and the tenants. The tenant is an occupant. He pays for the space, so he or she should enjoy what he or she pays for. So there are basic things that needs to be given, that needs to be put in place, which the landlord needs to provide. Once a tenant is in occupation of a premises, he has the right of the premises. That is, once the tenant is in occupation of a premises, he has the right of the premises. What do I mean by that? Once a tenant, he or she paid for that space, he paid for the rent, he automatically owned that place for that period of time he paid for. He's automatically like the landlord of that place at that moment, the period of time. So the landlord or the agent don't have rights to just come in on notice. No, it's against the law. That is trespassing. I've paid for this space. I own the place for the time being. So you don't just come into the place and barge into this place. You are trespassing. You are, whether a stranger, a landlord, or an agent, you have to give notice before coming to the premises. For as long as I'm there, I have possession of that place. As long as the tenant is in that place at that moment for that period of time, he owns that possession for that period of time. So you coming, you are trespassing. You have to give a notice before coming. A tenant can seek a remedy in court by consulting a lawyer. All persons are equal before the law. A landlord or agent are not in any degree a master or lord to the tenants. You know, here in Nigeria, there's Some landlords, some agents just do some things to tenants like trash. It's against the law. In the Constitution, everyone needs to know their rights. Tenants, landlord, agents have their place to play in tenancy. Landlord have their rights, and that they have their obligation to carry out as a landlord. Tenants have their rights. There's a right of tenancy. There's a right of landlord. Tenants have their rights. Landlord have their rights. So therefore, you can't just give a notice and say you are living right now at the moment. No. According to the Lagos State tenancy law, if you're a monthly tenant, you are giving 1 month. If you pay monthly, your rent is monthly, you'll be giving 1 month quick notice. If you pay quarterly, that is like quarterly, like, or you pay like half of the year, you'll be giving 3 months. If you pay quarterly, you'll be giving 3 months. If you pay yearly, you'll be giving between 6 to 1 year quick notice. Landlords and tenants should work cordially. They should respect each other's boundary. Agents, you are just an employee. You are just being employed by the landlords to manage the house. You should know how to manage the people, manage the tenants. And you shouldn't be like a lord and master. You know how to talk to your tenants, talk to them in a respectful way. Coming to abusive languages, using insultive and abusive words is against the law. The landlord don't have the right to abuse the tenants, and the landlord, the agent, don't have the right to abuse or insult the tenants. It's against the law, and it can be sued for that. So, agents, landlords, tenants, know your boundaries. Don't say because you as a tenant, you know your rights, you do things that are not right, you misbehave because yes, there are some rights backing you. No, you have to follow the rules, you have to follow the law. Look at the laws that is governing where you are. Like in Nigeria here, like in Lagos State here, every country, every state have their laws. Like here in Lagos, Nigeria, there is the Lagos State tenancy law. You have to be acquainted. You have to know those laws that covers the tenant and the landlord as well, so you don't breach, don't go beyond your boundaries. You have to do the right thing as a tenant. You have to pay your bills and maintain the house you live in. Do the right thing. You as the landlord, you have to provide the necessary amenities that you need to provide for the occupant, that's the tenants. And you have to respect each other. Don't say because you built the house, you own the house, then the tenants are your slaves. No, they are not your slaves. They are just there for the time being before they get their own. They are paying for the services. You have to render the services well that you are being paid for. As far as they paid their rent, they own that place for the time being that they paid for. They own it. They are in possession of it. And you don't have right to just intrude. You don't have right to just come in at any time. No. We have to obey the law. So, in conclusion, agents, Your work is to manage the house. You have to work properly and professionally. You see some agents in Lagos, they're like touts. Just come into the house and seize the tenant's property, insult, abuse the tenants. That is against the law. And you'll be sued for that. You can be sued for that. In conclusion, tenants, landlord, agents should get acquainted to Lagos State tenancy law. They should read through it and understand it. Everyone should know their rights. As a tenant, you need to know your rights. Be acquainted. Learn to read. Read the Constitution guiding tenancy. Know your rights. Know what you need to do, your obligation as a tenant. You as a landlord, you have to be acquainted to the tenancy law. Know your rights as a landlord and know your obligation as a landlord. Do your obligation as a landlord. As a tenant, do your obligation as a tenant. You as an agent, you don't have any rights. You only take orders from the landlord. That is, you are working for both the landlord and the tenants because they are paying you. Not you as an agent taking laws into your hands by throwing out tenants, seizing their properties, or abusing them verbally. That is against the law. Even the landlord, you don't have rights to insult or abuse your tenants or to throw them out or to throw their belongings out. You don't have the rights. You have to take it to the courts. You don't have the sole right. You don't have the right as a landlord to abuse, to insult, or to throw out, or to throw your tenants out, or to seize their belongings. You don't have the rights. So please, everyone should know their rights. We should be acquainted to our rights. Because no, everyone is equal before the law. All persons are equal before the law. Whether be you a tenant, a landlord, or an agent, you are all equal before the law. So therefore, we should respect each other. The fact that the tenant is staying in your house, at the period of time he or she stays there, have possession of that place. He or she have possession of that place. So you cannot just come in and you cannot just come in as a landlord or as an agent at any time without notice. That is trespass. So therefore, we should be guided as landlords, tenants, and agents. In case you are not acquainted to the Constitution of the law, please go and search for it and read it and be acquainted to it and know your rights. Each one needs to know their rights. The rights of a tenant, the rights of a landlord. You need to know your rights. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Victoria Obiasi, Vicrest Properties. This is Vicrest Real Estate Talk. We'll be talking on the topic relationship between landlord, agent, and tenants. Please do smash the subscription button of this YouTube channel to subscribe so you always be notified of every latest update, every latest notification. Your returning subscriber, thank you for always watching our videos. Like our page, comment. If you've not subscribed yet, please do smash the subscription button of this YouTube channel to subscribe. Please, you can also share with your friends and family. Also, I will use this video to refer you to our other channel at Victoria Obiasuyi, where we talk on the cost of building materials in Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria. Also, you want to buy genuine lands and affordable luxury home, Vicrest Properties will help you do that. We also help you invest wisely. So thank you for watching. Do have a blessed week ahead. Thank you.